Now to a change of story and a change of hats for Annette, who is also the spokesperson for the Mana Party. In our Wellington studio, we have Pem Bird, who's the president of the Maori Party, and shortly we're going to discuss the growing gulf between the parties. But first, ki te eke ki te wā whakamomori, ka whakamomori. Me te aha tino whakamomori rawa atu nei, te mahi a te rōpū Act i te nei wiki. I whakamātau anō rā rātou, ki te whakarārake i te kai kiritanga, e ūai tō rātou ingoa ki ngā ngutu o te marea. Engari he tika rānei tā Don Brash, arā, kei te whai tika motu hake rānei te iwi Māori, kāore e whai ana e tahi atu.
Welcome to Lifestyles of the Preferred and Privileged with your host, Don Brash.
Do we want special legal status for Maori in New Zealand? And I'm saying no.
That's right, Don, because Maori have so many privileges already. There's no need for Botox when your average life expectancy is 7 years less than non-Maori. And who can afford Botox anyway when Maori earn less than non-Maori across all occupations? Perhaps they should stay at school longer. Oh, that's right. Maori boys are most likely to quit early, and they're the most preferred down at the dole queue, where a staggering 25% or more will find themselves as unemployed. But Don has a solution.
Let employers hire young Maori at whatever rate they can get, rather than forcing them to stay at home on the dole.
Sounds good, Don, and Maori certainly get preferential treatment with the justice system. They have preferred guest status at many fine state establishments and make up more than 50% of the prison population. They even get to carry the can for their crimes, unlike white financiers who have the government pay back their victims. Never mind, when Māori are out of jail, the beach beckons. Don says passing the Marine and Coastal Area Act makes it easier for Māori to claim coastal riches. But not as easy as the many Pākehā who have already snapped up nearly 1/3 of the coastline into private ownership. Clever bunnies. Oh well, Don says Māori have the privilege of voting for special seats and representation, and that's so unnecessary when people like him, who really know how to spell Wanganui, are there to give Māori what they deserve. Way to flog a dead horse, Don!
He whakatoi pēr, he whakarōrā, he pū hohe engari, anei te kōrero, tī horea te kiri rākau, ka tūpono ki te kai kākā. Tērā te wā i pēnei mai ai te kōrero, a te mātanga mātauranga rā a iri hāpeti Ramsden.
If you think Māori have experienced racism when we are poor, powerless and marginalised, you wait and see what happens when we begin to become more powerful and successful. Then we will really experience the deep, ugly underbelly of racism that exists in this country.
Okay, kia ora no Pem Bird, kia ora no Annette Sykes. Let's go to you first, Annette. Was it hapiti right? Is Don Brash scratching the underbelly of racism?
I think it's a desperate attempt by yesterday's kind of politician to get airtime, and so what he's doing is to expose the worst of the racist ideology that underpins his party to achieve that. And frankly, I've been really disappointed that the media's pandered to his goal. Frankly, what should have happened was that there should have been a complaint pursuant to the Human Rights Act to the Race Relations Conciliator or the Human Rights Commission that the ads that he was perpetrating are designed to incite racial hatred and are not condoned in a modern society, and that he shouldn't have been given the airtime. And the kind of institutionalised racism that it reflects, sadly, is actually reflected through the institutions of power, as we saw in Wellington yesterday, when the Speaker of the House declined to allow Hone to adapt the oath to enable Te Tiriti o Waitangi to be brought into the focus shortly. At that point.
We'll come to Hone shortly. Engari, Pam, what do you think about Don Brash and his advertisements in the newspapers?
Oh, look, he should be consigned to history. He belongs in history. 6 years ago, yes, he had an audience, and a very receptive one at that. 6 years on, we've moved from there. People have come more towards the centre. And I totally agree with Annette and the point she's making about the media should ignore the man, should starve him of oxygen. He's an irrelevancy.
So is this
and it's a desperate ploy. He's trying to repeat the tactics from 6 years ago, because he's seen his party popularity not going anywhere. contrary to what he thought, is not going anywhere.
So you're agreeing with Annette. So is this the time, the opportune time, to create a united front with the Mana Party and the Maori Party?
Yes.
Pam?
Well, look, Don Brash has identified the Maori Party as public enemy number one. That whole advert says it all, but the one taken out in the Herald, where he cited a half a dozen at least of milestone events, achievements, that he considers, that he cites as being examples of pandering by the national government to the Māori Party. So he sees the Māori Party as the threat because we're achieving too much. The Ancient Whanganui, the Marine Coastal Bill, co-management of the Waikato River. And here's an irony, the abolition of the Māori seats is not on the table anymore. It's nowhere in sight, it's gone. And the irony is, without the Māori Party there, we wouldn't have a seat in Tai Tokoro for Hone to contest.
Okay, so you've got Don Brash perpetrating this racism in politics. Can the Mana Party and the Mana Party and the Maori Party work together to combat this racism?
But Pam doesn't want to answer the question
yes,
the
we can.
question requires him to concede.
No, I won't say that. Look, just because the options were rejected, the recent options, it does not mean to say that a relationship of any sort is not possible going forward. The lesson that our membership gave us, the rank and file, was this is about manakitanga. Are we able to respect and trust one another? At this point in time, that was the primary reason behind the rejection of options 1 and 2.
Are you saying you don't trust Hone?
I'm not saying that. This is what the rank and file membership have said. That, look, when the options were brought to us, they heard about Willie coming to the hui. They'd already made their minds up. This was not about the leadership imposing the decision on the party. This came from the rank and file.
Okay, Pam. So there you go. Rank and file of the Māori Party have said that they don't trust Hone and the Mana Party.
Well, that's not true. The rank and file of the Māori Party that I've talked to are quite different again. There hasn't actually been broad canvassing of the rank and file, certainly in Wairiki, Pam. In fact, what has happened is that there has been an elite group, a small group, a clique, that have been asked their opinion, mostly of the conservative elderly leadership of the kind that is sitting at the top of the Māori Party. What here is required is some leadership, is some grappling with the fact that we have two mainstream parties, Labour and National, that promote policies that assist pedagogy that does not assist the tangata whenua of this country, the poor and the marginalised. If the Māori Party really wants to make a difference, then it's natural that their first alliance is with people like the Mana Party, who firstly believe soundly, who are Māori, who have long fought for tino rangatiratanga, who want constitutional change, who have devoted 20 or 30 years to do that, who are advocates like John Minto against racism, who have fought with their bodies on the line against racism. Those are your natural allies, not unnatural people who've actually created enemies of our people in particular circumstances. The Labour Party did it with the Foreshore and Seabed Act, and the National Act and Māori Party Coalition did it in the second opportunity. Both pieces of legislation confiscated our land. That's untenable in the 21st century.
Okay, Pam, I just want to come back to you now. The oath, all the furore that came about the oath of, that Hone Harawira did in Parliament last week, all your MPs were prepared to take the oath. Do you support the right of Hone Harawira to create his own oath and pledge allegiance to the Treaty of Waitangi?
I'll get back to that in a minute. Just let me respond to what Annette has just said. Our natural allies, who's at the table, who the government is.
So you'd rather work with Pākehā? You'd rather work with Pākehā than your own people?
Well, if they're going to advance our interests and we stand by our track record.
So you'd rather compromise Māori rights and work with Pākehā than work with Māori who want Māori rights?
Our people are applauding the advances we've made on their behalf.
No, they're not. They're not. 71 of 72 iwi went to a select committee and said to the Māori Party, do not support the Foreshore and Seabed Mark II. You ignored 71 of 72 iwi and you went ahead. Why? To placate the Act and National Party agenda to access resources.
Okay, let Pam respond.
And look who's lining up. Look who's lining up to file an application.
Two people,
mean, at the end
the
of the
people
day,
that can
that
afford it,
act
the
will be
very
tested
elites that you support,
by
the elites
the-
you support,
by
not
iwi.
the rank and file hapu.
Okay, let's let Pim respond.
So we're totally unapologetic about working at the table. We have a track record that we're proud of. And we're not ashamed of being there. If there's another way of advancing the interests of our people, I'd love to see it. You ain't going to do it in opposition. So we're there. We're honouring agreement we made with the National Party.
Okay.
If Don Brash comes in, that'll be through John, the Prime Minister's invitation. But we will confront Don Brash at the table.
Pim,
Now, if I can answer the question about Hone,
Pim, I'm just going to
sorry?
have to move in there. I'm sorry, we've run out of time. But, you know, let's hope that we can find some kind of middle ground where both the parties can work together for the benefit of all Māori people in Aotearoa. Ne? But I'd like to thank you both, Annette Sykes, Māngai mo te Mana Party, and of course, Pim Bird, the President of the Maori Party. Thank you both very much. Tēnā kōrua.
Tēnā koe, Scotty.
Yes, we didn't quite get on to talking about Hone and his oath that he made, but never mind.